Of the TOC quarterfinals debate between Travis and Leah. In part one, we watched the actual round and gave commentary, and hopefully you flowed the debate, and then you did the drills assigned at the end. In part two, we listened to Kirk's first version of the drills and gave critical feedback on the things that needed to be improved. And so hopefully there won't be a part four, and part three is sufficient to have this be enough. But we're going to listen to his improvements based on part two. So if you're following along at home, I would highly recommend that you do the drills the way Kirk has been doing them. You'll get the same benefits, and then you try to give the speech Kirk is giving, and then incorporate my feedback. All right, Kirk.
Okay, so we're gonna start on the 5-minute version, and I'm going to do the. I'll start on the Actually, I'll start on the my arguments where I drop the debater, and I'll signpost as we move to the other flow, which is her underview when she can drop the argument. So.
I can't wait.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
The first question you have to ask yourself is on theory is what's the impact of theory? Drop the argument versus drop the debate. There are 4 reasons to drop the debate. The first way out is the time scale analysis indicates that if you drop the argument, it's not sufficient to compensate for time scale, because I spent plenty of my went-in time reading theory. You're just trying to classify your argument, and my theory itself is abusive onto my time scale argument. However, my time scale is your time scale ace point. It's a function of reciprocal access. If you think my one-in strategy was unfair, you could run theory in the 1 AR on up layer and weigh the theory shells. And you can also classify counter-intuition and RBI. However, I don't get reciprocal access to your strategy. The first argument is the conceded D-supply strategy to indicate that that I don't need to defend theory for a top value interpretation, which means that doesn't make sense for me to have CS chess. The second argument doesn't make sense for me to be as abusive as you are, because I would simply create a race to a bottom to see who can become one of the most abusive. That creates a terrible norm for debate. D-supply, your abuse is empirically proven. You try to extend the drop the arguments by to check out my entire shell, which causes significant time skews. So the second way out is conceded C subpoint. Is that even if you win, drop the argument, is drop the debater in this specific instance, because it's not a specific argument you can drop by interpretation. It's too specific and issue 100% conceded, and there's also lots of implicit clash with all the argumentary extenuating that no new response is next feature. The third way out is that you have conceded, I can make new twin arguments against conceded 1AC theory spikes. There are 2 warrants ace point. I don't understand how 1AC theory spikes, the function of 1AC theory spikes until the 1AR when you extend that empirically proven in this round, because I know your first fight was going to be drop the argument in the B point. It's better for debate because it prevents you from having crappy spikes and hoping that negative will drop them. You might think, I understand this is not how normal debate works, because I get new responses to drop the arguments. You might think this interventionist. I'll be more interventionist for you not to evaluate my arguments, so I can respond to new arguments. Wouldn't be interventionist for you to evaluate new arguments, because I'm already making reasons why I should get new arguments. She's going to try to qualify these arguments to mean that she can have new responses against 1 and arguments. However, this doesn't make sense logically, because the warrant justifying why I can make new arguments is specific to AC spikes. I don't understand the function of the AC spikes until the 1 AR. However, you understand the function of paradigm issues right when I read them. The final way out is that you drop the argument, means drop the entire AC in this instance, because it's the only thing that's proportional punishment. It's that you have to evaluate my recontextualization of her framework, which she has no options on. Unlike your first argument. Checking back could be a turn. Drop the barrier. Checking back for better for checking back abuse, because drop the argument because when theory drop the argument, there's no incentive for people to actually read theory to check back abuse. The next argument theory itself is abusive, because there's going to be bidirectional interprets when not in this instance, because my interpretation is too specific to be bidirectional. Second, if it is, you should be able to easily read it because you can generate a lot of options. 3, my shell solves for issue, because I just tell you to list out all the interpretation that you'll comply with and when you see which means that you can avoid bidirectional theory interprets. Shell itself. The next question you have to evaluate is who acts in big strength of offense into strategy. However, it's problematic for her, but that she has no impact analysis. She doesn't impact her arguments, which means that you should reject new 2AR impacting. I have not yet 3 NR to respond to her new impacting. Super hard about the fact that she couldn't make the impacts in the 1 AR. So she doesn't do any weighing, which is that you should not allow for new weighing arguments. After abuse, always negative abuse. Ace point lack of 3 NR means that 2 NR cannot be both backward looking and forward looking. B point 2 AR gets the last beat. Then gets extrapolate new words and new arguments. Your counter-interpretation not complete with my interpretation. You don't speak to the nexus question, which is whether or not you should have whether or not you should list out the interpretation you will comply with in the 1AC. If I will complete an interpretation and your counter-interpretation not competitive, all your arguments are relevant. Extend my interpretation that if you read TX checks, then they have to list out the interpretation that you all comply with. You violate this because you don't do this. You not benefit to the counter-interpretation. Solving traits one turn. You can extend and cross-apply my strategy arguments, but supplement a point in the case that my interpretation disincentivizes people to have abusive arguments because I force people to lay out their hand and tell me exactly which interpretation they will comply with. My interpretation valid for solving tricks. Second, there's no impact to this argument. Three, third, there are more of the other abusive arguments that you don't solve for. Even if you're able to solve for tricks, you don't solve for all types of abuse. Your next argument is you're not abusive. However, I'm isolating specific abuse claims here. My strategy argument. Your next argument is worse for me. First, you have conceded my abusive point indicates that under your interpretation, you get so much more prep time to prep for a counter interpretation, which means that even if it's worse for you under my interpretation, you get a way too much of an advantage under your interpretation. Second, you have conceded my CSO point that it's going to be a dramatic skew for me under your interpretation because it takes me several minutes in progress examination to see what you comply with. However, it only takes you a few seconds to indicate which interpretation you would comply with. Even if you're at a disadvantage, I'm giving even more disadvantage on your interpretation. And finally is conceded decent point indicates that there's only a risk that you allow for more abuse because only you get access to these strategy. All the subpoints are independent reasons you can vote for me. Then your final arguments I have to question everything. One, it's not questioning everything. The limits have a theory interpretation, especially when you have conceded my D when you're a D subpoint that has a risk of offense. Also, C subpoint doesn't take you that much time. Second, there's no impact in the strategy. Even if there is, when I like A subpoint conceded time skew, there's conceded time differential. That was a C subpoint. B subpoint, I would imagine to abuse because you're incentivized to debate. There's hide abuse. However, there's three points for your argument, which is list out your interpretation in the 1AC.
How long was that?
505.
Perfect. So if you went to substance, what would you do on substance here?
That I would, since it's a red herring, I would just extend my reconceptualization of the framework because that was what I contextualized reject the argument. She has no offense, I just extend that.
That's exactly what I wanted you to point out, is that on substance, you want to choose the most strategic red herring, right? Because here Travis could have gone for several arguments on substance.
Right.
He could have gone for like the subjectivity takeouts. He could have gone for the action gap theory argument, or he could have gone for the recontextualization.
Right.
And so, given that you're making an argument on the theory debate, for why drop the argument would go back to recontextualizing the framework because you dropped the whole AC. I think definitely going for the recontextualization is best.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. That speech was perfect. It was really, really good. I really like pointing out rhetoric like the nexus question is this, right? That's the type of rhetoric I think that you need to use more often.
Okay, sure.
I also think that the order of this speech, like once you get over the big picture, drop the argument versus drop the debater, you should do the counter-interp not competitive argument next.
Oh, really?
Instead of just being buried in there in the line by line.
Oh, sure. Yeah, to make it more obvious to the judge.
Right, and to draw more attention to it, right?
Oh,
like,
I want to draw more attention to the fact that she had no impact on her arguments. Yeah.
Well, I think that too is fine, but the point is that like this is basically an a priori that the 2AR has to deal with.
Right. Sure.
Right. So I would say now on the line by line, there's going to be a long drawn out debate here, but this debate is probably unnecessary because her counter interpretation is not competitive, which means you can already negate on risk of offense. Go to her counter interp. You screw up, you don't answer the nexus question of whether or not you have to list out the interps. All your questions are whether or not CX checks is good or bad. I agree that CX checks is good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it needs to be done differently from the way you do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Makes sense. So I would say like best case scenario for me, you already vote neg on risk of offense. Worst case scenario for me, you think that her counter interpretation is competitive when we evaluate the line by line. Good thing I'm killing her there too. Let's go to the line by line.
That's fair.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Now let's listen to short version.
Still starting on the actually it's going to just start at the drop the debater arguments.
Okay, one sec. Short version 2 MR. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
You're extending the AC spike for drop the argument. The problem for you, you have exceeded my C support on drop debater, which interacts really well with the argument spikes. Even if you win drop the argument, drop debater in this specific instance, because I kind of that's too specific, which means there's not a specific argument you can drop 100% conceded, which cannot give me a 100% link. Next, you don't count interpretation, not competitive with my interpretation. Even if I lose the line by line, it means that all your arguments are relevant. Because you want to speak to the next question of whether you should be able to list out your theory interpretation. And when I see you speak to the question of whether cross-check strike is good, I'll concede that. But you don't address the next question. I extend my interpretation of UNCX strikes. You have to list out your interpretation and you'll comply with it. And when I see you violate this because you don't do this, your net benefits is solving tricks. However, one, my interpretation benefits solving tricks. It costs my strategy. Across my extend my strategy. Argument the ace plan in case my interpretation doesn't invite people to have abusive arguments because that force people to list out which interpretation that would comply with. My interpretation is better for solving tricks. Even if your interpretation can solve tricks, you don't solve other abusive arguments. Just also cross-apply this through her argument about having non-abusive arguments. Her next argument is worse for you. Cross-apply that C point is not worse for you. It's only takes you a few seconds to clarify which interpretation you will comply with. However, it takes me several minutes to cross-examination. If you don't do that, your final arguments, you have to question everything. One, it's obviously not question everything. And limit 7 interest. And second, there's no impact in terms of strategy.
How long was that?
110.
Cool. I think that if you're running out of time, like you have 15 seconds left, and you realize that you're gonna drop arguments, right? I think
Do more big picture weighing then.
right, and also explain. Like I would say that I would isolate offensive ways out. Right, I would say like. She has 3 offensive arguments on the interrupt counter trick debate. The first one is she solves tricks. A point is there's no impact to solving tricks. B point is I solve it better because I force you to lay out your hand. Your next offensive argument is this would take you too long. A point is that my time skew outweighs because questioning in CX takes forever. B point is it would literally take you a few seconds. No impacts. Your last offensive argument is that way I could question everything. But A point is that there's no impact here. And B point, the strat skew arguments via the lack of reciprocity definitely outweigh.
Okay, so you don't think I should just like concede the defense? Don't give lip service to defensive arguments.
Exactly. So in a world where you're going for the red herring, you're gonna have to drop something.
Sure.
Drop the defense.
Yeah.
And weigh against the offense. And if you have time, ideally you can give a reminder to the judge that the defense is not terminal.
Sure. Yeah.
But a good judge should be able to recognize that anyways. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, I think we can officially put aside Leah versus Travis. So lessons here are that it's a dangerous game in the Twin R to collapse to the recontextualization of the AF and turns to the AC standard because it lets the 2AR really re-explain its standard and exclude a lot of your offense. And it can't really do that in a world where the Twin R collapses to theory.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it in the Twin R, collapsing the substance, you have to absolutely 100% make sure that your arguments link into her standard. And the other big, I think, learning lesson here should be that the 2NR needs to, in situations like that, distract the 2AR and force the 2AR to cover 2 layers. So the lack of a red herring, so to speak, for Travis was something that hurt him because that would have forced Leah to invest time in the 2AR on the theory debate, which means that she probably would have fell short on the substantive debate somewhere.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Awesome. Okay.